Okay, so I did the math and GAN is wrong. GAN wants you to think that there are 1,296 possibilities for tensioning your GAN 14. But that's not correct. First, let me tell you how they got this number. There are, so if we look under the cap, 6 settings for how deep the centerpiece goes. So your normal, I guess what you would call the tension that you would have on like a screw. Then you have 6 adjustments for the elasticity. That would be spring compression. So 6 times 6. Then we have these edge magnets. And at first I thought there was just 2 settings, but there's actually 3 settings. It's that middle one's a little bit iffy. It's easy to go past it. So you got to be careful with that. So 3 different settings for that. Then you have the corner magnets. And in here, there's 2 different ones. And I was able to swap them out. Now, these blue ones are a little bit lower. And even just when I check how strong it is there, blue feels a bit lighter. Each of these, you have 6 different settings. Do some of them overlap? Maybe, but technically 12 different settings there. So 6 times 6 times 12 or times 3, that is 1,296. But they forgot one setting. You can just take these out and not use them at all. If you don't want corner core magnets, you can just remove them. So we're not going to do times 12 for 6 and 6. We are going to do times 13. So 6 times 6 times 13 times 3, and we get 1,404 settings. So if you really don't like corner core magnets, yeah, you can remove them, and this will probably be a lot like the feeling that the puzzles were before they had the core magnets, like the XS. With all that said, I want to try the lightest setting of everything and see how each one adjusts. Because I didn't do a ton. I mean, I adjusted magnets here, and I did some tension settings that I didn't show in my first video. And the reason I cut that out was just for time's sake. I mean, if I adjust it and then tell you, okay, I like that more now, well, that doesn't help you at all. What I need to do first is not put those back in. Don't know why I did that. So let's take these all out, all the corners. We'll do 2 at a time. And a trick for getting these corners out, because they're a little tricky, is use some pliers. Okay, then I'm going to put these back in, just so the core doesn't fall down and make a whole mess of things. Now, on a side note, they did... Ooh, wait, is that for the corners? That might be. Let's try that. Oh, this totally is. Okay, you don't need pliers. That's what this tool is for. Well, I'm going to want to change them all to 1 anyways. And then I'm going to change them all to 6. And see if 6 feels like maybe 1 of the white ones. Okay, this tool is so much better than trying to use pliers. There's such an easy way to do this. Like, that actually just clicks in. You don't need to do the crazy thing I was doing. There is one thing I would love to see come back to these puzzles, or happen in general, which is weight adjustment. And if you've been cubing for a little bit, or you follow my channel because I've talked about this before, you know that was a thing. Another company actually did do it, but they were with small ball bearings. They didn't really do very much. And GAN was going to with their 356, and then just never went through with it completely. But I did it. That was actually one of the first things I did on this channel, besides the glorious cotton mod. Now you might ask me, hey, Sean, you just said that you could try it without the corner core magnets. Why don't you do that? Because I like corner core magnets. Okay, step 2. I need to make sure these are all set to 1. So they're at 6 right now. So we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This one is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then for kicks, let's also move all the edge magnets farther in, all the way in, to make that light. Now this, unfortunately, you do have to do 24 times. So the edge magnets are not connected on both sides, meaning like you would do it once and they would change both sides. Similar to what I guess the corner magnets are, where you can just change that once and it adjusts, you know, the magnet for the whole corner because it is just one magnet. I think the XS was like this too, where you had to do it 24 times. The X was not because it was one giant capsule. Okay. Lightest magnet setting with keeping the corner magnets in. It's there. So it's a lot more flexible. But that click is still there. You can even hear. Like, that's a solid feel. I mean, it might be because I lubricated it a lot. But it's too flexible for me. But the feeling's kind of nice. I expected just to hate it. It's not bad. I'll do a solve, and then I'm going to switch it to the highest corner setting, and then swap it for the white ones and see if I can tell any major difference. I'll move the camera just a little bit so it goes out of frame. You can still see it. I'm just hand scrambling. That was awful. I like got lost when I was doing that. Whoop. Okay. Well, that was not a great start to the solve. Okay. This actually should be really quick because I just have to go one click. One click. Now, after all this, I will do some tension adjustment as well, but that's just... I don't have time to go through 1,400 settings. It's interesting. You don't feel more of a click with the corner adjustment. That just really seems to adjust how cube-shaped it feels. Okay. Another hand scramble. Try to make sure I don't accidentally hand scramble it the exact same way. Okay, I probably shouldn't have done a resolve. I'm trying to be consistent here. That's nice. It's more stable, not super clicky. I mean, I can feel those magnets for sure, but for the lowest setting for the edge magnet, it still has a bit of click to it. It doesn't have a strong magnetic feel, but it definitely feels clicky. Okay, this one's gonna take a little bit, so here we go. Okay, so now let's set this to the lightest setting. Okay, let's see if it feels similar. Actually, it does. Maybe a bit more flexible. It does, it feels... So there was blue, the like lowest blue setting, highest blue setting, the lowest white one feels maybe around here. But it feels very nice and stable, even though it's on the lowest setting. I mean, you can see it flexing, so it's not, you know, the most stable cube ever made. Okay. And let's set to the highest setting. And one more solve, and I'll do some quick tension adjustment. So yeah, it doesn't really add much click, but it definitely wants to stay more in a cubic shape. So the click is more in the edge magnets, but I'm going to leave them on the lowest setting. Oddly enough, I kind of like that. Okay, now let's go on to tensioning. They have a nice tool. Initially, those grooves that are in there, GAN wanted you to use the tool. Let's just move that out of the way. Because it would just fit there and you move it. But what would happen is you would push it down a bit when trying to turn it, and it would remove the center cap or the center tension thing. So that didn't really work. Actually, it looks like this tool can do all of it. So you might not even get the metal one like I did. So let's set everything to 1 first. That is the loudest click I have ever heard. Okay, lowest spring compression, lowest tension. I can already feel this is insane. 1, honestly, in that center seems tighter. While for the tension, this is super, 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 super loose. Oh, that is gross. Oh, no. Okay, there's some people that probably love this. I am not one of those people. Immediately no. Immediately no. I gotta try setting the center one to 6 though, because setting it to 1 seemed like it made the actual cube itself tighter. That was really easy to... Okay, so it didn't come with a guide, but I believe from what I read in the past, because I remember there was some like mix up with it. The center, the higher number, the farther away from the core it is. So 1 would be tightest. With the outer, that is spring compression, the higher number is a more spring compression. So if you want the tightest cube, you do 1 and then 6. And then magnets, again, 6 is stronger. So 6 is stronger magnet, 6 is stronger spring compression, 6 is the loosest puzzle setting. But that is just no. I'm going to go... So it was 2 out of the box, and 2 seemed pretty good. 1 actually seemed too tight for me. And I've said my personal gauge before, so I'll tell you. I'll show you after this again. Okay, so my gauge is when you pull a corner and edge apart, you can barely see the edge of the foot. So right at the edge, you can see where that would be. Okay. But yeah, these very loose spring compression... or magnet compression, because it's not spring compression anymore. Okay, let's go to... So it's at 6 right now. Let's go to... no, it's at 1. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to keep it at that. And someone asked about removing the edge magnets. That's not really possible. So the magnets that repel cannot be removed, or if they could, it's not something they plan on doing. Okay, so just to kind of review, GAN was wrong. There's 1,404 settings. As far as the tension, if you adjust the corner ones, that really adjusts how much it wants to snap, or it kind of works in culmination with the compression, whereas you compress the magnets more, it wants to snap back more. But even then, I feel like you can still get a kind of this sort of thing as you're solving, where it's just a little off like that. And the corner magnets, how close they are, help stabilize that. The edge magnets do change the click, and it's quite a strong click, even with those edge. They're not all moved. Well, I missed 4. Okay, still same answer. Yeah, even with the edge magnets moved, you still have a very obvious click. That doesn't mean it's a super strong magnetic feel. The smaller the magnet and the more close they are to the corner, the more you'll get a click. When we were actually installing magnets ourselves, if you wanted just a strong attraction without a big click, you'd use wider magnets and a little bit deeper down. So yeah, so you still have that click, even though it's not a huge, strong magnetic pull. And then as far as the center adjustment, you've got 6 settings for the core depth, which the lower the number, the wider the core is. You can, I guess, think of it as, the distance away, where 1 is shorter and 6 is wider, which is where 0.6, 0.8, I think they had 1 millimeter as well. Yeah, and then 1 through 6, where 6 is tighter for the magnet compression. And yeah, as far as feeling, it still feels like a GaNCube all of those times. It's just making it so that stability is what you want. So as far as making it feel softer or not, or heavier, you either have lubrication to add, or, you know, we can't add weights to it, or we could, but it's not their intention to do that. And yeah, to me, it still feels more like a more adjustable 11, which was the one I used more than the 12 and the 13 if I was using their mainline puzzles. And it's another good GAN puzzle. So yeah. Whew. This video is way too long already. So thank you much for watching. Hit like, subscribe for more content like this in the future. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. And as always, keep following SpeedCube Review for more news and reviews.